G'day, dear guys. Now, it is that time of the month. Oh, I forgot to bring over the calendar, which I love this month's calendar. It is from the Goblet of Fire. It's actually the Maze this month. So I thought that was really cool. It actually looks like a painting, which is pretty cool. Even though I think it does, but now I can't show you the gift because I actually gave that to my mother, but I can show you what I did buy. Yes, it's a bit of a Harry Potter theme. This is a necklace that says, mischief managed. If you know your Harry Potter, that's actually the, name you have to say when you see the Marauder's map. And of course there's a little, the charm is actually footprints, which reminds you of when you pull out the Marauder's map and say, I solemnly swear I'm up to no good, the Marauder's map pops up, and if you're trying to find someone, you try and look for their footsteps. It's also the end credits for that same movie. They've also at Typo, they also released some hardcover books. Now I picked up the Hogwarts one, and the woman that sold me this thought I was actually a fan of the house that this is the color of, but I'm not. I just think Hogwarts itself, I thought the design was really, really pretty. It's just a lined notebook. I've got a couple of these now. I really need to use them. That's end of that. I do have a rant. Now, if you saw earlier this month, my mother and I went to see Downton Abbey. We went to the George Street location. Now, I know this movie is actually out you actually buy this now. Oh, just remembered. I did pick up Rocketman. I didn't pick up the Steelbook. I happened to miss out on the opportunity. I've already watched all the behind the scenes and everything like that. This is actually the standard cover that you can buy anywhere else. I think Taryn played this role so well, almost melted into the role. Now back to my rant. Now, X-Men Dark Phoenix is now in stores. Now, this happened to be in the food area. Three months later. That immediately tells me that no one went to see this movie. For me to see this about 3 months later in the food concession stand, that shows you the movie was crap. Now turn into where I keep all my pens. That shows you how crap the movie was. If people wouldn't even pick up the collector's mugs. I'm waiting before it hits Foxtel, which is a cable subscriber here in Australia, before I even pick this sucker up. I've got all of the X-Men movies, including the Disastrous X-Men Origins Wolverine, but this was the first one I refused to go and see. I'm waiting before I pick it up physically. And I have some good news to report. I've had, if you popped onto my Instagram last night, you would know I now am employed. I'm a little rusty. Where I am is Ribs and Rubs Homebush Bay, also known as Sydney Olympic Park. We're actually on Dawn Fraser Road. It's either road or street. If you come out of the station and head towards ANZ Stadium, chuck a left, and we about halfway down Dawn Street, heading away from ANZ Stadium. The staff could not be nicer and more helpful to me. I need to work on my locations of tables. I will be working on that today, and I will keep you informed of how I'm going with that and everything like that. I'm really grateful to Alex, one of the managers. She cannot be more helpful and more nice to me. And all the staff that I've had the pleasure of working alongside could not be more helpful. Yeah, so I will keep you also up to date with that. My history with work has not been the greatest. I think more recently, the longest I've had a job is 2 weeks. So hopefully I can break, fingers crossed, I can break that cycle. So yeah, that's my little update. So yeah, I'm there most nights. I do night shift. So if you happen to be in the Sydney Olympic Park area, and you're just looking for a really quality grub, just come by down and say g'day and have something really nice to eat. So there's my plug for Rubs and Ribs. We do also have another location in North Ryde as well. That's the Sydney location. So come by, have some grub, say g'day, and yeah, I shall leave it there. My sister and I have said that we aren't actually going to get the typo calendar next year. If we do, it's not going to be one with the voucher. Oh, yeah, voucher. For the fact is, we really want to go to Florida. So this has been a great experience for a year. Going into typo, getting some really nice things. But by December, this will probably, I might do this, but not so frequently. I might do it every 6 months. So this will be sporadic, this series, but it's been really cool to see this new stuff that does come into typo frequently. I will be doing more movie reviews as much as possible. My sister and I are actually planning a crossover. Hopefully this next week. And the first one we are planning to do is actually one I've already reviewed on this channel, but I'm not saying what it is. So keep an eye out. It is Halloween time, but I don't necessarily celebrate it. It's not really a time of year we sort of focus on here in Australia, but it's cool to see some of the really nice, scary horror movies that get released. So I've already said I'll leave it there, but I have a habit of rambling. So I shall see you possibly the next 3 to 4 weeks about some of my favorite horror movies that I have not reviewed. And I shall see you then. Ciao.